Good morning, quilters, and welcome back to the channel. This is Adam Ratliff with Adam So Fun, and thanks for watching. Today we are doing, I want to say part 2, but I don't know how many parts this is going to be, so we're just going to do the next step in diving into Designer. So the series is all about Pro Stitcher Designer. I'm working off my computer. So today we're going to talk about the draw tools. We're going to talk about how to save in different formats dependent on what you're going to be doing, and how to change a design from artwork to stitches, because anytime we save and we want to use that design in our Pro Stitcher or our computerized quilting machine, Pro Stitcher for me, or even if you want to send something to one of your electronic cutters, you're going to have to apply stitches to that and save it in that file format. So we're not going to spend a lot of time here. We're going to jump right into the program. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified when those new videos drop. You do have to have notifications on to get those to get notified. Remember, you can always follow me at Adam So Fun on Instagram and Facebook, and that's with an S-E-W. But without further ado, let's jump into the program. We'll see you back here in a minute. All right, everyone, we are back in Pro Stitcher Designer, or Pro Stitcher Studio, the Designer program. I just deleted everything that was there last week, and so I'm going to start a new screen. So I'm going to come up here. I'm on my home tab, and I'm going to click new. I realized I was recording the wrong way last time, so now when I hover over something, you can see Control N is going to be my hotkey. Right here, Control S. Over here, my hotkeys are Q and E, Z for zoom. So that's what I was talking about in the last video, how you can hover over and see what those things are going to do. So I'm going to hit new. A thing to kind of be aware of, when you open a new screen, it opens by about 4 by 2. So you can see with using my rulers. I have -1, 0, 1, and here's my 0. So I have 1 inch and then 1 inch down here. So just be aware of that. If I start digitizing things right here and they look really good, you're digitizing them really, really small. So usually I open a new screen and I'm going to use the trackball on my mouse to zoom out, because I pretty much always use a mouse when I'm going to use the Designer program. So today we are going to talk about our Tools tab. We're going to talk about the draw tools. So that's these 5. Also, we're going to talk about how to save, how to apply stitches, and when those things might be necessary. So the draw tools are going to be the ways to create. So a lot of these work just like our paint programs on computers and such. So pencil, see, our hotkey is P. I'm going to select it, and when I move my cursor down here, see, right now I have my my arrow, but when I move down here, do you see it looks like a pencil, which is very cool because it's a straight pencil for us. Now, this is best used with someone who has maybe a stylus that they can write on their computers with, or they have, you know, the kind of stylus that has a mat and everything. I'm using my mouse, but maybe I want to write joy. J-O-Y, joy. And I'm going to, at the end, so you can see, so I held my finger down while I did that. It looks a hot mess. I'll start there. But you can see this little dashed line that's continuing, that's following me around. It wants to start drawing again. So I click the button. So it's going to start drawing where you continue that button. When you're done, you can hit enter. I'm going to hit enter. You can also right click. You can also come up in here and hit the select, or you could tap Q and it will be done. So this is now an artwork file that I can move around. I can fully edit. Maybe I was like, oh, I want to mirror this. I can do that. You can do anything to it. I've just digitized these kind of lines. So that is our first tool. That is the pencil tool. And really, it's you moving the mouse or whatever way you're kind of using this interface to create your line. I am going to delete that because it's horribly ugly. And we're going to go to my favorite tool, which is the line tool. I'm going to select line, but I could also hit L on the keyboard. And this is going to create a line between like point A and B. So this is like the mark tool in Pro Stitcher. So I can select And I do have some snaps on. I have my snap to grid and snap to anchor points. We'll talk about that next week. But what the quick kind of thing a snap will do, it's gonna, if I click close to an intersection, it's gonna put that point right at that intersection. So it helps you to be more accurate. I'm gonna hit backspace to start off that first point. But this is the line tool, so it's gonna create a straight line connecting point A to B. You can see the cursor change to this crosshair with the line. You can go diagonal, that's fine. So maybe you needed to make a triangle. The line tool is where you want to be. I'm going to right click and say I'm done with this. So there's my triangle. Maybe you wanted a really thin rectangle. There we have it. There's my really thin rectangle. Maybe you just want a crazy shaped thing. And I'm just clicking around. When I'm done, I'm going to right click or hit enter, and now I have that crazy shaped thing. I'm going to move that out of the way so you can kind of, let's move these. So this was all just clicking, making a line tool. I am more of a modern quilter. It's the way I digitize, or it's things I digitize, usually more straight line stuff. I am not an artist, so this is me using Pro Stitcher Designer for the non-artist. I really enjoy line designs. So that is the line tool. It's going to connect A to B and then B to C, C to D, and so on until you hit enter, right click, or you come and select the select tool or hit Q. All right, so let me delete this one. I'm going to leave the triangle and the square here just for fun. The next is the curve tool. So this is going to create curves. Go figure. You can see that the crosshairs have changed to, or the arrow or the pointer changed to crosshairs with a curve. So I'm going to pick a point, pick another point, and you'll see that as a straight line. But now it's going to curve to get my third point. And it's going to curve to get my fourth point. It's always going to curve using 3 points for reference. Now, when we get into some videos later on in the series, we'll go in and see how we can change the look of this. But this one is just how these kind of functions work. I'm gonna hit Q this time, which is just like hitting enter or picking the select tool. And there's my curve design. This is kind of cool. I might save this. I'm not going to delete this one. I might save this one for later and do some editing and see if I can get something really neat and a neat design out of this, because I think that this has a possibility of going somewhere. So we're going to save that up there. So that was the curve tool. The next, we'll talk about the Bezier last, where the next is the arc. Now, usually I tend to use the arc more than the curves, because we're going to call this the 3-point arc, because it uses 3 points. And how this works, let's say I need some scales, I don't know, also known as clamshells. And I want my clamshells to be 2 inches wide, 4 inches wide, 4 inches wide. So I'm going to click my first point. So there's point 1. You'll also, the arrow changed to crosshairs and an arc. Now, it works with 3 points. So here's my first point. I'm going to put my second point, and I'm going to pick my third point. And I get a perfect half circle, like arc. Now, how this works, this was point 1, point 2, point 3, which is going to turn into point 1. So I count, and I always do this. I kind of head bob too. So when I was in class, I was head bobbing. So it's 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Oops, I'm going to use my arrow pad to move over. 2, 3. If I wanted to come back down, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. When you're done, right click, Q, select any of them, and now I just made a string of pearls. Like that fast. These are kind of big because these are going to be 4 by 2, but you have this grid. If I needed a string of pearls that was really small, maybe 1 inch pearls. So this square is 1 inch, right? So I can start here. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, and continue my 2, 3, which I'm doing in my head while I talk to you. And now I have, what is that, 6 1-inch pearls in a line. So fast, so easy. And now again, this is a design that's fully editable. I'm going to click transform over in my sidebar, and I can rotate this. Maybe I want this 45 degrees. I'll hit apply. And now I have them at 45 degrees. I can copy and paste this. I can do whatever I want with this design. This is now a design that lives in my library. I would have to save it, but we'll show you how to do that in a minute. So that is the 3-point arc. That is probably the line tool and the 3-point arc tool are my most used draw tools, just because I feel like you can get a lot of stuff out of them. The next is the Bezier. Now, I will start this out by saying I am not great with the Bezier tool. I understand the concepts, but I'm just not great. It takes a little practice. All right, so I'm going to start the Bezier tool, and I'm going to click. And you'll see that this is a square anchor point. That is a line point. We'll talk about those next week. Here's my second line point. And I'm in the Bezier tool, but it's still just making straight lines for me, like it did with, what am I thinking of? I was making straight lines like the line tool. So I'm just going to finish this out down here. And now I'm going to click here, but instead of just clicking, I'm going to click and hold. And I'm going to move my mouse. And do you see these handlebars, these handles? These are, when we're talking about anchor points, these help create that curve. You can see that these handles stay the same on each side. So this is a symmetrical point. And you'll see that the anchor point is actually a circle. But again, we'll talk about that next week. But how the Bezier works is I can put that line exactly how I like it, let go, create my next point, and do the same thing. So I have full capabilities of creating this line however I want it. And again, I'm not great with this. It takes some practice. So it's something I will practice with. But it's fun. You should play along with it. When you're done, right click, enter, all of those. And you have this funky looking shape. Digitizers who do a lot of kind of curvy designs use the Bezier. So that is a Bezier. Again, it probably takes a little bit of practice. I'm not great with it. I understand the concepts behind it, but I tend to use the arc and go in and edit later. But once you get good with these tools, you can come in and use this, and it's kind of mixing them all together, mashing them together to finish what you're trying to create. All right, so let's talk about saving. I have all of these designs. This is my workspace design 3. So if I want to save this, I want to save this to work on later. I'm going to go up to my file. I'm going to click save. And because it's the first time I'm trying to save this design, I'm going to get a pop-up. And it says save as. So this is in my documents file. This has some of the old programs. I need to go to where I actually have these saved. And it's on my C drive. Is it under designs? So it's on my C drive. I have it under my designs, and I have a my designer folder. So these are all the things that I've worked on, some other files, some things from Academy. So I'm going to make a new file. So I click this file up here on the top right where it says create new file, and this will be ASF videos. So now I have a new file for Adam So Fun videos. I'll double click it. And then now I have to give this a name. So this is the Draw Tools. Draw Tools video. And you'll see right here, it's going to save the file as an inspiration series. That is the C2S is the file type that ProStitcher Designer uses. So I will click Save. And now down here in my window, that Design 3 has changed to Draw Tool Videos C2S. So just keep that in mind when you're doing these things. You can always see what you're currently working on. So the next thing I want to do is decide, okay, do I want to use any of these? I like this string of pearls. So maybe we want to see, I'm going to move everything out of the way and I'm going to hit the Z to zoom in. You'll see I get a magnifying glass and zoom into my pearls. Maybe I want to see how this is going to stitch out. So I'm going to hit my select tool. I'll select the pearls. Now, when you're selecting something, you have to click on it. So I'm close and it's not picking it. It's kind of not like Pro Stitcher in a way. Because in Pro Stitcher, you just have to get kind of near it and it'll pick it. This, you have to click right on the box. Or right on the line. You want to click right on the line the design is. Now, if I wanted to see how this is going to stitch out, I'm going to go to my preview tab. With the design selected, I'm going to select stitches. You'll see the line gets kind of thinner, and I can see my starts and stops. Also, now I have this stitch out button that I can select, so I'm going to select stitch out. It's going to delete everything out of my window that is not stitches. I still have all those designs in my workspace. They're just not here because they're not stitches. So I'm going to zoom back into these. And up here, this is my scroll bar. These are my arrows. So this is the speed and it's set very low. I'm going to hit simulate, which simulates stitching. I'm going to turn that speed up a little bit. So this is how this design would stitch out. And I like that. I actually like this a lot. I think I might use this for something. So if I like it, after it's done stitching, you have to hit select. You have to come back to this window. So say I really like this and I want to use this. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it. And I'll do it so you can see. So I right clicked, I'm going to hit copy, and I hit it once, I'm going to hit it one more time. I'm going to go to a new page, and here's my new page. I'm going to right click and hit paste. Because I don't want all that other stuff on this. I just want the pearls. I just want this. So right here it's design 4. I don't want it to be named design 4, so I'm going to file, save. I'm going to get a pop-up because I haven't named this yet, and let's name it pearls. I'm going to name it first as the Pro Stitcher Designer file type, the C2S. I'm going to hit save. I know there's stitches applied. If I come down here and I look at my sequence view, you can see that this has 241 stitches. I know there's stitches applied, and you can't save this in any other file type unless the stitches are applied. I'm going to come up to File, Save As, and instead of just clicking Save, I already have this. You can see where it says PS Designer right there. This is a designer, like an artwork file type we can, for default, just say. I'm going to hit this little arrow, the caret over here, and these are all of the different file types that we have. So I'm going to save as an HQV because that is what the Pro Stitcher uses. But I want you to see this, SVG. For those of you who have electronic cutters, I could save this design as an SVG file, send it to my electronic cutter, and have it cut out these string of pearls. So think about that. Any design that you have in your Pro Stitcher, you can now, or Pro Stitcher, or that you create in Pro Stitcher Designer, you can bring into your cutting systems and cut those out. You'd have to look at it and see what's going on. It's going to do the same, I'm not sure. I think it does the same path, but I actually am not sure about that. But, if you have a design that has an outline of a Santa face, you can crop out that Santa face, and then now you have that silhouette of Santa, and you can send it to your cut file. Or for those of you who have animal designs with their outlines, I would try to stay away from things that have lines in the interior because it's going to cut those lines too. But you can save it as an SVG file. For those of you who don't have a handy quilter, you have all of these other file types that the other machines use. So there's definitely, this is for all of you long armors out there. I'm going to just hit HQV and I'm going to hit save. And now, if I go to File and Open, I can see that I have my pearls, which is the Pro Stitcher file type. But I also have this one that is just the white box. And that's because it's an HQV file. So this is the one that I'm going to put on my stick and take to my machine. I do have this, or I'm working on my computer, right? So I'm going to hit the send button, and this is going to send that Pearls design over to my Pro Stitcher. There we are. So I'm going to hit Pro Stitcher. Here's that design in Pro Stitcher. So this is Pro Stitcher Simulator. So say I sent it over and I wanted to stitch this out. I'm going to go to Quilt. I want Stitch, and I'm going to hit Run. It's going to say, hey, are you sure all this stuff? There's my machine simulating, and it's going to stitch out my design for us. My pause delay is on. Obviously, you need pause delay on your computer, right? So, so this is simulating stitching it out at my actual machine. So it was that easy. So if you like, we'll talk about this in another video when we actually get into like sending things back and forth. But if you have Catalog and you have Pro Stitcher Studio on your machine and Catalog, you can find those designs in Catalog and just send them right over to Pro Stitcher. You don't even have to go anywhere. So, so back in Pro Stitcher Designer, here's my design. If I wanted to make changes to this design, so I'm going to go back to my Draw Tools video file. This is still stitches. I can see down in my sequence view on the bottom right, I have all these artworks and stitches. If I needed to edit this, I would go up to I go to Preview, select Artwork, and change it back into Artwork. Do more editing to it, and then I can change it back to stitches and go until I'm ready. So that is a little bit of the Draw Tools. I'm going to hit this. I'm going to click off of everything and hit the space bar. These are all the things that live in my workspace. I'm going to go back to Tools. So that is a little bit of how these Draw Tools work and how to save a file. We also made that the file for just these designs, and I do that a lot. I will make a file for a current project I'm working on. They're always saved in different spots. So best practice, put them in one spot and you'll always be able to find them. And how to convert to stitches and then save as stitches or whatever type of, whatever file type you might need. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in a second. All right, everyone. So that was a little bit with the Draw Tools, you know, using the line, curve, Bezier, arc, and the pencil tool. Remember, we saved, and I showed you how to create a new file if you want to save things somewhere specifically. And we just did a little bit of drawing. Nothing too crazy. We did make that string of pearls, but yeah, nothing too crazy. Next week we're going to jump into the artwork tools, and then we're also going to talk about the how to change. So we're going to do artwork tools. I'm trying to think of how to do this because there's so many things you need to learn, but so little time, right? I don't want the videos to be an hour. So next week we're going to talk about the artwork tools. We're going to talk about anchor points and the different types, and we'll get just into a little bit of reshaping or you know, editing those lines and using the shape tool. So make sure you come back next week. Again, like, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. And at the end of the day, it's just quilting. So we want to laugh and we want to have a good time. See y'all next week. Bye.